Hello, and welcome. Welcome, yes, welcome. Welcome to another exciting extra stream here at Mega 64. It's a Friday. I think we've got some ones in the chat. Looks like we're all live. I brought in a few of my toys to play with today. First off, let's get a little background music going for the room. Let's see here. I've got... We'll start off with a little Snatcher soundtrack. How's that sound for everyone at home? Oh, I didn't mean to show this. This is for me later. This is not part of the official stream here. This is just for later, as almost a reward. We'll see if I can, number one, get the disk drive on my PlayStation 3 Fat. This is a launch 60 gigabyte console. This is one of the fully backwards compatibles. And the goal here is to get the disk drive out, replace it with a new laser. My system here stopped reading Blu-ray. No, not Blu-rays. What was it? PlayStation 2 CD-ROMs and DVDs. I guess DVD-ROMs. But yeah, PlayStation 1 discs would still work. PlayStation 3 discs would work. But the PS2 discs and DVDs stopped reading. So all the research I did led me to the easiest solution. Rather than replace just the laser assembly, I got the whole laser tray. Not the whole disk drive, which you can also buy. Even easier of a swap. Just got to remove the logic board. We'll get to that and everything else as we dive in. I don't want to get ahead of myself. We also, time persisting, we have a set of Joy-Con joystick replacements. That's for your Switch Joy-Cons. I've got a little Joy-Con drift going on. Johnny queued me in on Amazon, having a lot of options to replace those actual joysticks in the Joy-Con. So we're going to give that a shot, and while we're at it, I picked up some of those clear shells. This was an eBay purchase for the laser. The rest, you can find all this stuff on Amazon. Tons of different options. Just research your seller. Go with someone who's got positive feedback. Back to cracking this baby open. And I got the chat up. So shouts out to the chat. How's that background music volume? A little hot or pretty good? What do y'all think? Oh, a beautiful slideshow from my Apple TV here as well. Enjoy that. Oh, Garrett Victor in the chat saying I'm looking good. Background volume at a decent clip. Profange 23. You think it sounds good? I'll go with y'all. All right. So, first thing we're going to handle is the PS3. And I've already done some pretty heavy modifications to get this big bad bastard inside the game case that I use over here when playing games on the PS3. So I've had it open before. In fact, I've shaved part of the plastic casing off to make it slimmer. I also took it to the belt sander down here. That being said, the only real pain in the ass screw to get to on a PS3 Fat is the Torx, what they call security bit that I was just pointing at. And that's a real tiny, kind of, I don't even know if we can pick that up. It's a star-shaped security bit with a hole in it. So if you don't have that tool, which not everyone does, it keeps you from opening this thing. But I've already removed that and never bothered putting it back in because it's such a pain in the ass. So I can just slide and remove the kind of an opaque plastic. You could see through it here, interestingly enough. The reason I'm making such an effort to save this PlayStation 3 is because it is the 64, or I think the 60 gigabyte launch, fully backwards compatible. It'll play 3 generations of PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3 games. The replacement laser I bought was fairly cheap. I want to say, even in the caddy, the minimal part, just the laser replacement, I think was like under 19 bucks. I want to say this was around or under 30, and then the whole tray, the whole DVD drive you can get for, I think those were like 70 to 80, if you can find those. eBay seemed to be the place for that, not Amazon. This is the model number KES 400. So the later PS3s, the Slims, some of the other launch machines even, depends on their batch dates, have different parts. There's a 410 as well as a 400 that we're dealing with. But that's getting into the weeds, right?
Brother, big dude.
This Snatcher soundtrack was put out by Mondo. I think we've listened to it a few times on the PPS over the years. And I fit some of those songs into a few of my DJ sets in the last couple, since we've been doing the extra streams once quarantine hit. So the next step, we have to remove a bunch of screws, and they're nicely marked here with arrows. If you ever feel, I don't know, uncomfortable about opening your electronics, just go on YouTube and search other people doing it, and I think you gain a lot of confidence doing that. At least I do, especially seeing full tutorials. I mean, search laser replacement on YouTube. I'm using a guy here. I'll just go to it real quick. There's console repair guy. He has some instructions on actually removing once you've kind of got the disk drive out that I was reviewing again this morning. We might go back to it if we need to. And then this was Tinker Mods on how to just tear down and get the body off of the unit so you can access that drive. So there's tons of other ones, shorter videos, longer videos, about everything. I haven't actually looked up the one that we'll try to do when we go to the Joy-Con. That'll be, but I'm sure, I am positive they're on there. A guide for everything on YouTube, man. So I like having a tray to put all my screws in. I also like having a magnet to keep all the little tiny screws in one fucking place. So that one was fairly long. I see a couple of comments in the chat. The Fine Design says he's got a busted HDMI on his PS3. That's probably, I don't know, look it up on YouTube. It might be a cheap fix. It blows my mind that there's so many options for aftermarket parts. Like, there's tons of eBay sellers that have really positive feedback. Varying prices, varying degrees of the part. Garrett Victor in the chat said that he's learned more useful things on YouTube than he ever did in college. That's pretty funny. Save your money. Teach yourself. All right, how many more here? A few in the back. Coolman23 in the chat was writing about how his PS3 gets so hot that he has to play it in the winter. That's how I feel about this thing, man. It sounds like a fucking airplane taking off when I actually, like, turn a game on and it starts processing. It's crazy. All right, we're getting the big handle out for that stubborn boy. Stubborn boy. I set my air conditioner up right in the front of all my TV equipment, so it kind of blows past all my consoles. And yeah, it shouldn't be a necessity, but that definitely helps with some of these old PS3s. And the Xbox 360, that thing got hot. I fixed several 360s by doing the wrap them in a blanket trick, or put them in your oven. Get out the heat gun. I love YouTube for that, man. That's where I found all of that information, was like watching some 14-year-old in Oklahoma put his fucking Xbox 360 in the oven in a blanket. And I'm like, that fucking works? Holy shit. Some things do. So I think now I've got everything taken off of the outer shell, I guess you would call it. And there's a little ribbon cable that attaches this plastic, from what I remember, so we have to be careful. And once I double check that I got all my screws out, yeah, that looks good. Where's my magnet? So now I'm going to turn it around because I believe it comes off, yeah, this way. Go back to a full screen here. So inside, there is a little ribbon cable, and maybe I can show you guys on another camera. I've got a zoom set up here with the iPhone. TripTech229, he was saying in the chat that he used to learn how to fix consoles online and then charge his friends at school. It's a smart little business model, man. I've thought about that over the years because I have this background in electronics, and that's, you know, always been my main source of income, being a technician. Before Mega 64 brought me on full time. I've always thought, like, dude, on the side I should moonlight and, like, fix consoles, but what a pain in the ass. I think I would just be so worried I couldn't fix something, and I would break someone's console. I felt very comfortable always working on my stuff because there's no repercussions other than I fucked up. Oh, and as soon as I get the camera angle, it dies. Sorry about that. What's going on here? Do I dare take all that time to reset it again? Let's see. I have the chat here as well. Make custom modded Game Boys. Yeah, there's like chip tuners out there that do kind of crazy shit. I've always been inspired by seeing those. Those custom chip tuned Game Boys you can buy. I mean, people sell those for $300, $400. Like some artists, especially when the synthesizer shit was really getting popular like 2 years ago. I mean, it still is. I would see little noise boxes and little, you know, garage kits go for $300, $400 online. One day. All right. I'm gonna see if we're back. Well, that's better than nothing, I guess. Why is it sepia? Oh, fuck, dude. All right, I fucking give up. What the hell? Piece of shit. All right, we're not going with the close-up, unfortunately. You're just going to have to take my word for it. There is a small ribbon cable here, which we're going to disconnect by just popping the little black tab off. Off, not off, up. And then pulling it from the lid side. And then you can just let the cable hang there. So we're done with this piece. This also not completely opaque. It's translucent. Both layers of the outer shell. Dual translucency kind of makes it so dark you can't see in there, I guess. All right, so this is the drive that we're after here. And there's not much that keeps it in at this point. Boom. That just pulls right up, but there are going to be some ribbon cables under here you want to check for too. I can see one right under my finger right here. So I'm going to flip that little latch open. And I'm going to pull the cable out. That one's out. And then this little gray cable here is your power. Power on there, data on the ribbon cable. And you can see the little black locking mechanism. You usually get in there, even with my gloves on, I can get under there with a fingernail. But if you have some kind of non-metallic, plastic tool, something that comes with like replacing an iPhone screen, one of those little plastic wedge tools, you can use that. I probably got one in the shit that came with some of these parts. Yeah, one of these tools, these little triangles. A lot of these parts now you buy on eBay or Amazon, they come with the whole kit and all the tooling to replace everything. So these are the Joy-Con replacements that I think they were $14 in the Amazon link I got. And they come with everything you need. And all the iPhone work I've done, same thing. And I feel a little less confident working on iPhones because of the glass screen being so fragile. And really, you kind of have to get in there with some pressure on some of those parts. Right, so now we've got our disk drive out. I'm going to take the rest of this console away, as we do not need it. That's going to be our new laser and tray. While I've got the system open, I will say I'll take this opportunity to blow it out with some compressed air. That's a good idea. Whenever you're working on your shit, take the opportunity while it's open to clean it. Oh, shit. I don't want to blow that on my records, actually. There's so much shit coming out of this. It's ridiculous. I'm going to do it in the fucking hallway. Fuck this. Hold on. It's too much. I don't want this. I'm going to have to vacuum it up later. Oh, okay. Wow. It's incredible how much... And a little for myself. Woo! I wish I had a father. Guys, I'm walking on sunshine now. So here's the part that we don't need necessarily until we're going to put the drive back in. Don't juggle it with one hand like I was just doing while I blew it out with compressed air on the other. That's unnecessary. All right. So now that we just got our drive, our replaced laser and tray, this is the logic board that apparently is tied to the console. So this logic board must stay with that console. If you are getting a full drive to replace your broken laser or your motor or whatever the problem is that you've troubleshooted, you're always going to have to keep this logic board and put it onto the new drive. The new drive will come complete like this, just missing the green circuit board here. Oh, and we are at the end of side A. No, that was side C, excuse me. Haha, scratch that. That was side C of the Snatcher soundtrack, and on to D. You love to hear it. Okay. Yeah, Flopsy in the chat reminding us of using a air compressor saves you a lot of money in buying cans of compressed air. It's nice at my shop and in my garage. I have a really nice access to 100 psi compressed air. I think that's probably the most overlooked and overused tool in a mechanic's arsenal. Always a luxury. But, you know, inside, you know, in your bedroom, in your office, the air is portable, so it best of both worlds. There should be a way to refill them. If there was like a refillable, I bet there is. All right. So now it's time to take the console, or the drive itself rather, apart. And there's a couple little tabs here, and those tabs have to go back in the same position. They kind of cushion the drive in there from vibration. So you can see how they're oriented. The three of them are sticking in. Gonna need a smaller, tiny Phillips screwdriver here. That one fits it. Sockhead in the chat's asking if this is ASMR. Yeah. That's your answer, Sockhead. Sit back, relax, and listen deeply to my voice. The deeper, the better. Sockhead. This one's for you, Sockhead. So I've got the 4 corner screws just about out. B. Karima 1 must have just got here. But hey man, I'm just happy you showed up. So I will re-explain what PS3 this is. It is the launch fat 60 gigabyte. And this is the 400 series replacement, replacement caddy and laser. The 400 series drive looks like this. There's also a 410 drive, apparently. So it looks like I've got that slotted there. Yes, baby. So the metal, the top metal piece now of the tray is open. My logic board still attached. Only 2 screws holding it on. You don't need to take those off. I don't believe you do. We'll get to that. Here's if you want to clean the fuzz where the disc tray loads in. It loads past that little felt curtain. The kind of labia minora of the PS3 right here, if you will. I will. Always. Yeah. Okay, so now this piece is important. It's a little spindle that holds the, magnetically holds the disc down. Put that in your toolkit, or your screw bin, I should say, whatever you're housing your parts in. Now, here's where I would like to review our friendly footage. We've got the console repair guy's screen here. I'm going to back up. And it looks like after he takes his tray off, let's see this.
So don't worry about getting them mixed up.
Yeah, it's all the little black screws around the perimeter. Some tape.
So what I do so we don't lose it is just sticking on beside.
Some warranty tape.
So now we're going to lift up from this side.
Lift up from that side. Yes, doctor. Beautiful. And one.
Magnetic disc holder.
No, nothing supporting it.
For now.
Okay. Oh, there it is.
Very careful here, this little wire.
See, that little wire, I'm going to leave connected. He disconnects it here, but I'm going to leave it connected because there's no need to disconnect it in my case. I think I have enough room working on the table here that it's not going to get in the way. I know there's also some important notes to not move around this armature during this whole process, because the way it's set up with the disc ejected, it needs to remain that way, or you could jam up the sequence. You could leave it in the state where it thinks it had a disc, even though it doesn't. That kind of thing. Apparently, it causes some problems down the road. I brought a couple games in to test. I brought a PS1, PS2, and a PS3 game. So we'll get there as well. I was just looking at all my PlayStation 2s. I got a Japanese and an American PS2 Slim, the last series PS2s to come out. And they're both fucking giving me problems. Nothing with the laser, no problems there, but the issue where the lid isn't pushing down on the button that makes the console think the lid is closed. And I got, it's happening to both of them. That'll be another stream down the road here. I've got a third market flip lid for playing imports on one, and that's supposed to have a longer little piece, but... Okay, that's all of my screws out. This is the only one that didn't magnetize for me. Let me remagnetize my screwdriver tip here with the magnet. Grab this little baby. Come on. There he is. Okay, so that 2-wire power cable to this sensor, it runs down that side, so we're going to open it this way, like a book. And I can see the tape, actually. He removed that little piece of tape, but I'm going to leave it here because it's holding the top of the DVD drive in place to where it doesn't put any strain on that little 2-wire cable. And it's a tiny, tiny gauge cable. That is very small. Again, here's some of the pieces that you're not supposed to twist or move around. The sequence that loads the disc would be disrupted if you change some of these positions, because all this kind of gearing has to fit back in. The caddy that we bought looks identical here. The laser even looks as it's resting at the bottom of the whole tray, so that's good. It's in the same position even. I'm gonna get a bigger, screwdriver. So we only need to remove 4 of the shock-mounted screws. It's like a rubber shock mount underneath here. And then, actually, looks like it would slide out. No, they all have to be removed. Alex Pick 123 noticed my Apple Watch in the tactical position. That's right, Alex. Always tactical. Always working for Big Boss. I think I like the black tight latex glove look so much I might continue after COVID isolation is over and done with. So there's 2 cables connecting the tray here. There's the ribbon cable, and then there's another secondary small ribbon cable like on the new one here. The first one has some tape holding it down. So I'm going to just get out a little tiny flat blade. Get my face down here real fucking close so I can see it. And I'm just going to pull the tape back from the side of the laser, not the side of the ribbon. Just going to slowly work it off of the connector side. Should we try for a close-up again? This would be a beautiful moment. If it would work for me, you know what I mean?
I went, ooh!
That you did. All right, the moment of truth. The drum roll has come. I see we're looking good. Looking good so far. Okay, so right down in here you have the ribbon cable. And I'm just using the little tip of the Phillips head screwdriver to peel that tape back so it just stays on the ribbon cable. Now, I should be able to pull this right out. Twist it back and forth. There it goes. I should blow this out with the canned air as well while I'm here. Remember, be real gentle, because here's where I was showcasing the tiny little 2-wire connector power supply and signal. That's going to go to your IR sensor that's located in the top of the lid here. That lets your system know if there's a disc being inserted or not. So now that that cable's off, all 4 of our screws are out. I think that we can lift this guy up on one side. Oh, there's still some resistance, so always go slow if you feel anything pulling against you. I can see now there's also another ribbon cable here we're going to have to remove. Now, where does this motor cable come out and go? Let me find out. Let me take a closer look. You know what's also great is the ability to do this. Hold on. Go to photo mode, and then you kind of have this like indie film Evil Dead thing, like you're being chased. Oh, wow. Okay, back to the task at hand here. Oops. It'd help if I didn't bump the table continuously. So the other ribbon cable I'm going to remove has the little flip-up style release, and it comes right away. And then there's still a third one connecting us here. So apparently there's 3 different lasers in the actual center lens. Different colors that read different things. That's why PS1 and PS3 games would still work in here, but not PS2. Oh, I see. The actual ribbon cable in question, the third one, wraps around the other side of the console. So I'm going to put it back together, flip it around. It looks like it comes into the logic board right here. So there's some tape. I'm going to remove just one side of the tape, flip up the little lock, and remove the ribbon cable. Now, it looks like I should loosen as well 2 of the screws holding the logic board on so that this ribbon cable can slide off easier. Yeah, that seems to give it a little more room. Okay. We'll go back to pulling this guy out now. Even there, I gave myself a little more slack. She's tight. Oh, yeah. Can you... Honestly, don't mind putting too much pressure on this piece because I know it's the bad unit. At least we hope it is. Let's see. Whew. Okay. Remember how delicate this little cable is. I'm probably getting too rough with it. So I'm just gonna let it sit loose. I'll come back to that. Now's when the sweat starts pouring out of me, man. This is the moment of truth. Okay, so it looks like that ribbon cable runs pretty far under this whole metallic side here that has to stay in the tray. So I can't put any more pressure on it. At this point, I'm going to take the logic board all the way off. I'm going to carefully take the logic board all the way off because now I'm leaving shit attached in multiple places. What I'll do is disconnect the logic board all the way. There's 2 more ribbon cables there. That's 1. Whew, there's 2. Want to make sure that I don't drop any of these screws. Okay. This is the little tail of the whole assembly here that wants to stay inside. But now that it's loose, it still is getting caught. No, there it goes. So that makes quite a turn. Okay, so the old part's out, but I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect the entire logic board. I'm just gonna kind of sandwich it all back together real quick. Let's see if I can pop that off. One more. And I guess we are going to take off this tiny cable after all, or no? Okay, now the part of the drive I need, I have completely separated. I did leave these tiny connectors on. I probably should have taken them off like the the video said we should. And that is a little piece of blue, what? What is that? How scary. Something extra in the console. Probably wasn't important, right? It's just a little extra blue thing that was in there. We don't need that. I mean, probably didn't do anything, right? I fucking hope. It looks like it has contacts running down the side of it too. I don't know what that is. We'll hold on to it. Okay. Don't get your old and your new mixed up. And I want to just check too, the serial number on here is KEM400AAA. And that is the part that I brought here as well. Serial number actually isn't on this part, must be because it's aftermarket. But that was the bidding title on YouTube, on eBay, I should say. Oh, and we're at the end of the Snatcher soundtrack. Why not fire up some Metal Gear Solid? Okay. I'm going to move the bad part completely out of my way. Trying to make sure I didn't move around any of these little armature pieces that I preached so heavily about. So it seems like a pain in the ass, but this ribbon cable has to get back under this metal tray and then on the other side spit out under there to hook back up to the logic board. So let's see how hard this is to do. That other one seemed to take a lot of twists and turns, and I don't know, this one seems like that would be right. I should insert it here. It seemed very easy, comparatively. Is it out? Yeah, it's sticking way out the other side. Look at that. Sticking way out. That was really easy. Getting it in rather than pulling the old one out. So that's the case. I'm going to move it back over to that side. Now, the one very important thing I'm realizing now I'm missing. Check this out. On the old Caddy, you got to take off the black rubber shock mounts. So there's 4 on the old Laser that you need. Wolfremio in the chat, what's up? This is tactical console action here. I feel a bit like Otacon. Working my way for world peace through philanthropy. What better way to bring peace than gaming? All right. Yeah. So you got those 4 rubber booties back. Those, now that I have clumsily already inserted the ribbon cable, I'll have to do this delicately while it's in here already, but it doesn't seem to be too hard, actually. I might also suggest just doing this without live streaming it and watching the tutorial video while you are doing the repairs step by step. Just might be a little easier. I'm taking the risk though. I'm playing on hard difficulty right now. I could break this thing, man. It could not work. I already refuse to take this little fucking wire apart over here for fear of putting stress on the cable. I've stressed the shit out of it opening and closing it about 4 times. Okay. So the 4 that held on our tray are now going to be reinserted through the now shock mounted holes. Oops, let's get a bigger one. Yeah, Final Fantasy. This is the European Extreme version of a console repair. 1 drip of sweat into the lens. Mission failed. You guys can Discord me. Garrett? Garrett? No! Ego Banana Bombs just remind me of the messages when you would fail in Phantom Pain, any of the children escorts, if a kid died or you shot a kid, the cause would literally come on. Yeah, he would say, "Oh, you killed a child! How could you?" It's like, yeah. Cause didn't like those kids too much, though. Remember? Cause was kind of a pain in the ass for Eli and the bunch. All right. We've got the 2 ribbon cables to put back on now. So the little one on here that I took off second, and the main cable here that slides up and down with the laser that I took off first. Now that all 4 of the shock mounts are back on, I always had a tendency to over-tighten stuff, but I do want to make sure that those are on there well. And we still have the tail sticking out that's going to go to our logic board when we put that back on. First, let's open the lock mechanism, slide that back in. And again, I'm gonna pull this tape back before I even place it so that I can get that lock mechanism back down. Just kind of bend it back. It'll stay there. Or will it? It's already coming down on me, damn it. And then once I've closed that little mechanism after the ribbon cable's in, I'm going to stretch that tape back over the lock. And I'm going to put minimal pressure. In fact, I'm not going to put a lot of pressure. I'm going to use the small flat blade screwdriver to press that adhesive from the tape back on to the locking mechanism. Because now this laser's riding on a really small armature. I wouldn't want to put any pressure that could damage it. Okay. That's one. This one in here, I've made it super difficult for myself because I already attached the tray. I probably should have done the cable first, but let's see if I can use the screwdriver to lay it in there. Get a better angle. I'm going to bust out. Why not? I mean, if we're doing it, we're going to do it right, right? And bust out, aside from having some compressed air, got to have a headlamp. Really, really be able to see what you're working on now. Let's see here. I got varying degrees, too, of brightness and intensity. I want max intensity here. Okay, the second ribbon cable's in, and that lock is shut. So now everything on this side is all put back together. We're all done on this side. So I'm going to flip him over. And I'm going to fold this back and just hold it under that tape if I can. I don't know how that tape works. I need something heavy. Here. Cell phone's gonna hold that down. You motherfuckers, stay there. Stay. It's a slick son of a bitch. Okay. It's there long enough for us. We want to put the logic board back on, and I want to make sure I do it right. So it looks like yeah, that's it. So this is the orientation of the board, and I can just set it back on. Once I clear all three cables, because we have 3 slots. Actually 4. There's 4 ribbon cables here, and I'll put them back on in the order I took them off. We got this little one on the side. And that little, oh, see, that's a misstep. It wasn't inserted all the way. Let me get out a screwdriver here. There. Once it's in all the way, I can lock that in. Ooh, and that does not want to stay. Fuck, man. That was probably... that was the piece. I fucking broke something, guys. Holy shit. That was the blue piece. That's why it's not staying in. Baby. So in that process, being too rough with it, I fully snapped this contact. See how it looks blue like the others? That was the contacts to this cable. So now I say we move on because this is not going to work today. How sad of a job. And that's why I would never want to do this for any of my friends. It looks like that ribbon cable, where does it go? Because I'll have to buy this part online now to replace it. Oh, and we're done. Time to switch discs. Or switch sides. That was another Mondo release, the Metal Gear Solid soundtrack. Side C as well. Let's move to side D. So, I don't know how it got switched speeds on me either, because I was just playing the other soundtrack. That was weird. It looks like this cable, it goes back around. Where does it go to? Oh, it goes right here, thank God. Okay, it's very short. I wonder if I would buy a used... I wonder how I could get this cable the easiest now. I'm gonna flip up the other side of it. It just is... literally runs from another board in there, wraps around to the logic board that stacks on top of it. It's this cable. This is the one that broke. So I feel like I'll probably be able to find this online as an aftermarket part, or I could buy a used or a dead console for parts and strip it of that cable. But what a bummer. What a bummer. And I'm almost scared to leave the console apart because it's gonna get knocked around more. Yeah, let me put everything back together. I'm gonna leave that piece open. Dun, dun, dun. So, if you felt uncomfortable about opening your console before, maybe you feel doubly uncomfortable now. I've definitely fucked up on some of my PS2 soldering jobs. There was a time, definitely going in to turn the laser up. I think I dinged something around and broke it once and had to go get another replacement. Because there was a point where they would get disc read errors, and you would just go turn, with a little screwdriver, you'd go turn a little potentiometer on the laser board up, and then it would play the games for like another 6 months, and you'd have to turn it up again. And I remember getting too comfortable in there and fucking something up, and I ended up replacing the thing I'm doing now here, like the whole laser bed. Okay, those three are back on. This I'm gonna leave unlocked because that's the one we need. Let me put 2 more screws on. The bright side is that I don't have to have the downtime of switching the console over to the PPS setup so that we could demo the games and make sure everything works. Because I know right now they ain't working. I've never actually broken, that's a first for me, breaking the ribbon cable like that. I wonder, just is, it's got a brittle point right there. Wait, I'm looking at it though. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. The contacts are exposed. The contacts are still there. But there's just not, the blue part is what the mechanism seats to, so there's no way it can clamp down on, it would just always fall out. Oh shit, man. Alright. Crisis averted though, because I bet I can even hit up some of my friends for their old, I think we got some friends who got some dead PS3s that they want to get rid of for parts. We shall see. So now I'm just putting the screws back together, or to affix the logic board back down. Another good idea, which I don't do, is writing down where all those screws go. I'm a little curious now. Did I put the silver ones? I know they were definitely... No, these were the black ones. I thought it was quite a bad omen when I found that blue piece a half hour ago, and probably an hour ago at this point. Sure enough. Okay, those two are down. And we have our 3 little prong pieces. Remember, those go on the outside here. Actually, I'll look back at our video and see again. Where did our guy take those off from?
Okay, so starting out, there's 5.
Looks like 1, 2, and then in the back corner. So I'm doing right by 1 and 2 here. And these are some type of shock mount so that the drive just kind of sits up. Okay, 4 screws for the logic board back on. We're ready to flip this carefully because, again, we've got that little 2-conductor cable on the side, which I'm just kind of sandwiching back together. Okay, I'm going to take that tape that was holding it down off, and I'm going to close it up for good this time. Okay. Now, I want to make sure, because I can feel that maybe everything isn't lining up. And that was the big key thing about keeping like these armatures in the right spots. But if you just kind of feel it out, there. You can see, or you can definitely like feel it seat back into the right spot. So once it's in that right spot, I'm going to put our tape back across to protect this wire, keep it in its channel. Make sure that connector didn't get pulled out while we were monkeying around with it so hard as well. Okay. Looks good. Remember, there's one more springy tab to put on the other side, but while we're here on this side, we're going to put the other screws back in as well. And I have to come up with another soundtrack for you guys. Let's have a vote in the chat. I could throw on Castlevania 2, Resident Evil 2, Outrun, Silent Hill 2, or Metal Gear Rising. I'm going to go with the most voted as I see. Time is ticking.
Brother, big dude.
I see everything. Outrun, some more, looks like more for Outrun. So at that snapshot I'm looking at there, I see a lot of Outrun. Now I see a lot of Castlevania 2. Everything was represented, but Outrun and Castlevania 2 were definitely the winners. So what we'll do here is load one on each deck. Let's see. And they don't write whether it's a 45 or 33. Let's assume this is correct. Okay. For the Castlevania 2, are we going the NES or the Japanese NES side? We got Simon's Quest NES version and Simon's Quest Famicom version. JP, they say it, I play it. We're going Japanese. It's how it was intended. And this is a 45. I'll just queue it up for later. All right, back to the broken PS3 drive now. I really wanted to get some State of Emergency in. I was trying to get that game working for... I thought it'd be fitting for last Wednesday's PPS. Rockstar's State of Emergency was a fun forgotten Rockstar game. A lot of people, I always think of like, oh yeah, what are those unpopular Rockstar games like Bully? But I even forget about State of Emergency. So you guys are getting Outrun Side A. Later on, we'll switch. Speaking of the Switch, maybe we'll get to these Joy-Cons. I can redeem myself. So, all 4 black screws on this side are now in. I can flip it back over. And there should be something to attach our third. Huh. Maybe it doesn't get a black screw, that's why. Yeah, it looks like there's one. No, it couldn't be that one. Oh, I know what it is. This doesn't go back on until the lid goes back on this side. So the one thing we don't want to forget too is our magnetic spindle here from our parts tray. That goes right on top. And it magnetically is just held in place right there. You can feel it pull right into its spot. We haven't fucked with any of the armature stuff here, so we should all be good. Looks like it goes... Yeah, it hooks around the back. Or, rather, hooks around the front. Slides down the back. Now I can flip this. Oh yeah, I got ahead of myself here with these 2 screws. So, let me just, while I'm here, put the last little spring-loaded screw back. It wants to cross-thread too. Let's see. No, that doesn't feel good. It does not feel good. It doesn't feel right. Probably because it's one of these silver screws. Yeah. So the silver screws go on this end, the tiny ones, rather. Right here and here. And all the black screws, which I'll just pull up and slide the shell under these. So, one screw without a spring-loaded tab in the center there, and then the other two have the spring-loaded tabs. All right. These are kind of tricky because there's a metal edge that fits down the side of the whole unit, and then there's the hole that you have to line the screw up with. There it goes. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The logic board's all the way down. We got 2 screws here. And again, I've got an extra screw. Where does it go? How do it know? Probably somewhere inside here. What I'm gonna have to do is hold on to this as well as my extra ribbon cable. And now we just have one more ribbon cable to hook this back up into the console. I'll put it all back together just to keep this in one place. We could, for shits and grins, just fire it up and see what it does. What does that cable actually do? Although it runs to the disk, so it probably just won't read the disk. Be pretty anticlimactic, I can guess what it'll do. Let's hook up our power first. Power cable on the side here. That just pushes in, and then ribbon cable underneath here. This was a lot easier to put on or take off rather. I'm gonna turn this so I can get a good look under the table and see, because this one's quite the, oh yeah, you don't have a lot of leeway. Looks like I lined it up. There we go. Boom. Okay, cool. Now that's done. Woo. Good thing it's only a ribbon cable that I broke, because I feel pretty confident in finding that, especially finding it cheap. That shouldn't be too much. I wonder, do they sell just random, like, is there ribbon cables online and you can get 4 conductor, 8 conductor, 1 inch wide, millimeter wide, 7 conductor? How's that work? Is there a part number on the... Oh, yeah. F41147.sch. 80C 60 volt. Made by AWM. It's a E41447-SHC. I could probably find that just by searching that part number. That's what I'll do next. Okay, so we've got the console back for the most part together. Let's put the lid back on. And we've got 1 ribbon cable there, this guy dangling here. So we're gonna hook him right up. Oh, that goes to your launch PS3s had the compact flash reader, the mini SD, and the Pro Duo Vita, or Vita memory, or PSP memory rather. It's that Sony proprietary shit. Okay. This guy should probably... What's going to be easiest? Yeah. Let me turn it around. Oh, let me blow this out too. Hold on. Look at the shit in here. I'll be right back. Woo! Dusty. Okay. The chat is gaining excitement for No More Heroes 3. I'm pretty hyped for that too. I always buy those games. I don't think I played the last one. The first one was like a Wii game, right? Fantastic. All right, so now that I've turned it around, I got a better angle to come in here and not break this ribbon cable. Open the little door, slide it on in. Come on. Slowly now. Okay, and close that door. Cool. So now, this thing seems to just come right down. No worries. There's one short screw no, it looks like I've got two short screws. And I think they are labeled to be short, or no, you can just see where they go in the center here by looking at it. So there's several long ones. Most of those go around the edge. You can kind of feel it out. Not that one. That's a long one. This seems like it's the medium one in the corner here. Yeah, it's got a S. Special. Gay Vulture in the chat is talking about that PS3 emulation making headway, big breakthroughs on PC. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that emulation's the way to go, and I've always hoarded my consoles, so I've never had the need for it. But the ease of capturing it, it's already on your computer, pretty appealing. I also hear about like bugs and just it not being good when you connect a controller. Some responsive issues with certain games. I don't know. Emulation's always been interesting, but I don't have the need because I just always play console stuff. The little bit of PC gaming I have time to do, I'm playing stuff on Steam. Usually something that isn't, it's exclusive, so I want to check it out. Okay, we got a big one here as well. So that's a long screw. What's left? Not much. Oh, one here. Oh, that looks like it should be a short one too. Oh yeah, here's one more short screw. Okay. Missing one long screw. Looks like it goes there. That's it. It's all back together. Should we see it not work? I mean, let's take a look. I'm going to clear off some shit. I brought the 3 generations of gaming to test. I bought for the PlayStation 1 Alien Anthology. Or no, this is just Alien Trilogy, sorry. It was the 3 arcade game. I don't know why they call this Alien Trilogy. I guess this was the complete Alien Trilogy in one Black Death White Knuckle Nightmare. But I think this was an exclusive title for the PlayStation, and it was just called that. But it was 3 levels of a game. Or was it based off 3 arcade games? I can't remember. Anyway, like I said, State of Emergency. I tried to get that working for Wednesday, but couldn't. And then before that, I was trying to get Resident Evil Outbreak working. Then we were going to test some PS2 games. And then for PS3, I brought the lovely Lollipop Chainsaw. But now that we're finished, let's see. Let's just see what Power Up does. Hope it doesn't do any damage. That's the one thing. It's like, can I break it by starting it up without the drive connected in some way? Hey, what's up? Rocco's joining us. Come on in. Well, no one's going to hear you. Do you want to be on mic?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm going to take a real quick break then. We'll be right back. What's up?
We're gonna leave.
I gotta take Johnny home at 5.
We'll take care of that.
Oh, okay. All right. Yep. Top secret. Thank you, guys. I thought he wanted to say something on air. Okay. Let's see what happens. We're all ready to go. I've got to press my power button first. Turn it on in the back. Okay, the system's on. Let's see. No video signal yet. There we go. Okay, it still starts. We're on to something. Okay, time to flip that Outrun record too. Here we are on side B. It's a dusty little bastard, isn't he? Oh, looks like it started up, went to my cross media bar. Let's see, without the logic board attached, will it do what it does? Because that ribbon cable's missing right now. Will it even read a disc? No. No. It doesn't know what to do with the disc. Eject button doesn't recognize. And trying to feed it a disc, there's just no, it doesn't give it, it doesn't grab it and start to pull it in. So, that's where we are. Even without a drive, though, I believe it would work for a digital game, right? Let's find out. I must activate my system, okay. Oh, I'm not fucking signed in? Okay, guys. Well, that's okay. We've pushed it as far as we can. I'm gonna shut her down. Until I buy that new ribbon cable, I'm SOL. Which I will save right now by sticking in... what should I stick this in? How about a game case? Back in the old game cases where you had like the memory card, that slot where you could put a memory card in there, I love that. I'm gonna tape this down inside Resident Evil Outbreak, just so it don't get lost. Okay. So that's about as much damage as I could do to my own PS3. Now, it's not time for my tuna yet. Let's quickly jam through what we can on the Joy-Cons. If I break 2 of my consoles in one day, I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what I'm playing this weekend. I could still just use a Pro Controller and use my Switch docked, I suppose. So I got some rubber grip things I'm taking off of the Joy-Cons here. Don't need those. And I got the replacement Joy-Cons here as well. Let me reset all my tools. And while I'm cracking these babies open, I did get a pair of these translucent shells. I figure upgrade not only the configuration of my stock launch switch is the circular D-pad. This has the true D-pad. But I'm curious, does it come with the actual D-pad? Because I need that. Oh yeah, it's under there, I see. Wow, what the fuck? This comes with tools too? Jesus. Look at this screwdriver. This is some fucking... Wow, alrighty. Certainly comes with an expressive piece. This is fun. This looks like a whole model kit. I just got word when talking to Rocco in the hallway here, I could go longer. I was going to have to take care of something at 5, but it seems like I can keep streaming, so we'll see how far we can get today. No reason not to finish, though. They always come with these free fucking things. I've actually even got them here. Like, from some other free thing I got, you know? Weird little silicone extras to try to get you to buy their brand. But hey, sometimes that shit works. Comes with a little brush, very nice. Extra tools now I have. These aren't really worth much because the tips aren't good. But it's only one-time use, gets the job done. Okay. Now, I'm going to start removing the security screws from the back of the Joy-Cons, and I believe they are this proprietary, it's like a 3-way screwdriver, it's not a 4-way Phillips. It's interesting, but it comes with that tip, so. Again, with the tiny fucking screws, we're gonna be placing everything in our tray. Oh wow, B. Kareem in the chat has already found me the ribbon cable on a website called www.mygameparts. I'm going to click on that link so I can just keep it open in my tab. Thank you, B. Kareem. What a guy. Oh, where'd that link go? Boom. $4.95. I could swing that. You know what I'm saying? I'll have to do Well, we'll definitely do some PPSs with the PS3 fat again, so you'll know I fixed it. But thanks, man. Appreciate the link community always coming through, y'all. Fantastic. Okay, so I was planning on winging this one, although you saw what that got me involved in about an hour ago with that ribbon cable. But these seem a little more mellow. Once you can find it's interesting, the security screws they have. Very tiny, and they're not very tight either. So remember that when putting them back, you don't have to over tighten. QT Max Racer, you're right. B. Kareem came in with that crucial link. Crucial. Okay, I'm gonna open now. Or try to open now. After I've got 4 of the tiny screws removed. Comes with one of those little tools. There we go. Pry up one side. Still feels pretty tight all the way around, even with the 4 screws off. Makes me want to look up a video and see what I'm dealing with. No, just needed to be worked around. Okay, the back piece comes off. There's definitely 2 little baby ribbon cables going to your L and R shoulder buttons. It seems like all the guts would come off. Let's see. Let's see. Why don't we educate ourselves and watch a video? I'm not opposed to it. Let's go to, what are we doing? Joy-Con replacement.
It's Greg from playwithgreg.com and YouTube, Twitch,
Hey.
Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and everything else.
You can find him.
Also play with Greg.
You can find Greg.
I'm going to go ahead and attempt to change this broken, beautiful blue Joy-Con's right analog.
Okay, we're cutting your audio, Greg. Thank you for playing. Looks like he's got a set very similar to ours. So he pulls his 4 screws, pops that bad boy open. Wow, he's got a turntable. Okay, looks like he pulled the battery out. One of those pain in the ass batteries, probably glued down. No, just pulled it out. Just pointing out a couple screws and a ribbon cable. Wow, he's really getting in there. Okay, he's got it out. Looks like 2 screws hold that thing in. Once you can lift the battery tray. Is that what we're looking at if I go backwards here? Yeah. That's him lifting the battery tray. So again, this is not the most delicate procedure either. It seems that there's a lot going on with these little ribbon cables too. Let me zoom in here. So first thing, we got to remove the battery, which they provide some tweezers here, which, yeah, it was lightly glued down, not bad. Okay, and that puts us in 4 screws. Puts us looking at 4 screws. It looks like 2 of them hold the battery tray on, you can see. Make sure you got the right screwdriver too. So 1, 2 silver screws now go on the inside. I'm gonna zoom in, maybe not. We'll pull out. Oh, there's a 3rd screw right here. And I definitely see why he was messing with the shoulder buttons. The Z, L, and L. Because that's also part of the Joy-Con that looks like it has to come off. Maybe it lifts straight out? Yes. Okay, it stays with the tray and it lifts straight out, but there is a ribbon cable that stays connected to it there. Interesting. So, now that we've exposed the Joy-Con, there is, I don't think, a distinction between left and right. I believe that the new ones come in a cool little case, actually, too. But I believe that they are identical, left and right. It's the same part on which Joy-Con, either Joy-Con. Oh, and we've come to the end of our time with Outrun. Time for those Castlevania fiends to get it now. So, the real pain in the ass now here seems to be that one of the ribbon cables goes right across the screw. So we're going to have to remove it anyway. Let me get the tweezers just a lift. And then pull that cable out. Once I lifted the gate. Okay, he's up. Now remember, there's still going to be a ribbon cable to put back after we replace the piece. But let's pull this out. Boom. Put those away. There's also a ribbon cable that holds the actual Joy-Con we're removing down, and that's right here. That little white piece is the lid that closes on it. Let's see how we get it out. Do we just pull these ones out? That one might not be a lift, it might be a pull. Oh, and as I pull the Joy-Con out through, now that it's loose, I can pull that whole Joy-Con piece out. It seems like it's getting caught on some fabric or something. There's like a little dust shield. Yeah, and that was just a pull, just a straight pull out. I don't think... Let's check with what our guy says. Greg, our guy Greg. I think that he recommends, let's see. back to where he just pulled it out. Oh, and he's putting the new one in using the tweezers. And it's just a push-in. It's not a lock. So that white piece doesn't flip up like the normal ribbon cables. It's just a push-in. Okay. Satisfied. Let's go back to the surgery. I will pull this one out now. The old ones had a blue ribbon cable. The new ones have a brown one, so as not to get mixed up. So now normally if you're just replacing the ribbon cable, you would just pop this thing back in, reconnect your ribbon cables, flip the battery tray over, put everything back together. But we've got these crystal clear plastic pieces here. So it comes with the battery tray, the bottom tray. It looks like absolutely everything. So I'm gonna get out everything that we need. Oh wow, and it comes with multiple types of the D-pad. You can have a black D-pad or you can have the crystal D-pad that matches the rest of it. I don't know what I should do. I guess all my other buttons are... Oh no, it comes with clear buttons for every piece. Oh wow, this is a great set. So you can literally have everything clear, the shoulder buttons and the D-pad as well. Or you could keep your black buttons that come stock and you'd have like a two-tone. I don't know what I should do, if I should keep a two-tone or go with a brand new all-clear scheme. I think I'll go all-clear. I think that's the plan here. Wow, a lot of little springs and tiny, tiny little pieces to reposition and rebuild all of the button. Wow, it's so interesting. This seems like a stream for another day, though, as I get deeper into it. It's about 5 o'clock, about quitting time now anyway, so let me see if I should finish. Whoops, okay, we're losing springs and pieces anyway. But for now, this was also not just an aesthetic choice. The real reason I wanted to do this for the Joy-Cons was because I've had so much Joy-Con drift since Animal Crossing came out. It never affected me. All the Splatoon I played, no problem. And then, I don't know what it was, but just playing so much Animal Crossing, I would get drift a lot. And this was quite an easy fix. For $14, I feel way more comfortable opening a Joy-Con. You know, it's an $80 replacement if you break it than a console. So let me go ahead and just to keep going, I'll deconstruct the rest of this and then start putting the clear parts back together. We'll see how far we get. I mean, we're almost out of that Castlevania soundtrack. I think the third popular vote for the record was Resident Evil 2, so trying to think of stuff that isn't going to get us copyright. Wow, so many little pieces. So this is the L. Let me find the L here. I can reuse the existing springs. They do give you all new ones. But I'll keep that old spring. Wow. So even the battery tray and all of these little pieces I can replace if I can figure out how to unclip. Oh, it looks like these may just pull off this way. Maybe not. Maybe that's oh man, I think that is a project for another day. Let's just replace the Joy-Con. Let's test it out. I've got the one here. So first, I'm going to drop it back in. Those tweezers will come in handy for putting the ribbon cable back. Oh, drop in, baby. Oh, you know what? This one's got like a big fat, it's got a fatter, no, it can't. It has to be the same size. Oh, it's that dust, there is that dust cover that it doesn't like going through. So it's a little bigger than the dust cover itself, I guess. Okay, so once that's lined up, I'm just gonna go ahead and put the screws back in first before I attach the ribbon cables. So that was my tiny silver screws. Whoops. And that's the end of Simon's Quest. Okay, I think we'll do a little record switch now. Why not right into... Oh. We haven't played any side A's. We've been on side C and D all night. Let's go to side A of the Laced Records Resident Evil 2 soundtrack. So as I'm placing these screws back down, I gotta remember not to over tighten. Let me just take this record off real quick. Okay. Very tense music now for my tiny, tiny screwdriver surgery. Is this what doing surgery on a grape is like? Okay, 1, 2. And those are not over tightened, just tightened enough. Gonna lay back this ribbon cable, which this one here, that one did have the latch closure. So I'm using the tweezers because I cannot get in there with my hand. Ooh, such a tight fit. Wow, that's really like hard to do right now. Let me get that light back out. Gotta go like a mining. 1, 2, that's maximum. Let me see what we're dealing with here. I think it might actually be better just to push down with something plastic. No. Let's see. Okay. That got it in.
Get that poison out of your system.
All right, one down. The latch is closed. Now, the next one we got is the... It's the one that we just have to push in. And that's shocking. to move the battery tray over. Oh, fuck, dude. I'm getting hyped. That Resident Evil 2 soundtrack is just so tense. Okay, so... I'm trying to pull this ribbon cable in. Man, I will say this is more than the average person can... I think this is a pretty high difficulty level when you're dealing with these tiny ribbon cables. So I don't know if I would actually recommend, because I was kind of thinking like, man, these are $14 on Amazon. Anybody could do this. Also thinking that, having never done it. But dealing with these little baby ribbon cables is not for the faint of heart, I will say. You just got to have patience. Doesn't make for an interesting stream, though. So, once I get this one back in, we'll just put this baby back together, fire it up, test it out. Okay, finally. Woo! I think I pushed it in. Okay, now I'm going to... I gotta reattach. My L trigger came off. So that seems to just be held in place. And there's a screw, a tiny spring, but it's held in place under the battery tray, and then the battery tray and the ZL button sit down right on top of it. So now I just got 3 more screws, excuse me, for the battery tray. And luckily we didn't disconnect the battery. Man, I'm having a hard time with this. Oh, fuck. And I dropped a screw. Oh, it's right here. Oh, there we go. The screwdrivers they supply are actually the perfect sizes, which is real convenient. And they are magnetized. At least this seller. Tiny, teeny, tiny screws. Okay, the old adhesive holds that battery right back down. I still got clickiness in my L1 and ZL. Now I can sandwich this back on. Yes, yes, everything crunches together nice. I'm not going to put my last 4 screws back in here because I just want to do kind of a test. Make sure everything's working right, you know what I'm saying? So, we have connected 2 Joy-Cons back to the console. You can see now there I've got my new clear button. That was just the one I replaced. It's going to take some time to go through and replace everything because there's a lot of little armatures and springs and stuff in there. But it stayed connected. Oh, look at that. It stayed connected. The Joy-Con did the whole time. And where's the Joy-Con I'm moving? The Joy-Con replacement has been successful. These are very, I feel like more resistance than I'm used to. L3 clicks in still, mini-map, map off. Okay, yeah, full functionality and nice, like good springiness to the whole thing. So I'm gonna have to continue another time in replacing the rest of this. All the little buttons you can kind of pop out like a Gundam. And then you could have fully clear buttons with the clear shell. Someday soon. That's going to take some time. I don't know. I'll have to leave this set up here so I can work on it this weekend. But thank you for joining us. It's me. Who's this fucking mouse in my pocket? What am I talking about? It's been a real fun stream. I'm glad you got to chill out and listen to some records while I broke my PS3 and then didn't finish fixing the Joy-Con. Well, I fixed the drift on my left Joy-Con. That's the most important part, right? That's what we set out to do.
Yeah.
But I got, thanks to the chat and thanks to the community, I got that link for a fucking $3 cable I need.
Yeah.
We sure do love you. We'll see you next time.